This is the latest edition of our annual market report on the sector. It follows on from other annual reports already published this year on electricity, critical minerals and oil, and I'd note that our gas market report comes out later this month, and the coal report will be coming in December.
Renewable energy has been one of the most dynamic sectors in the entire global energy markets. We have seen a very strong growth coming from solar, wind. Recently, a dynamic component of renewable energy has been the geothermal energy, pump hydro, also growing very strongly. So we look at all these renewable energy technologies, what are the future prospects and what are the challenges. And our report looks today, 5 years, what the projections are. And one important message coming from our report before going to our projections and expectations, that while renewable energy sector grows strongly in many parts of the world, it is also facing some headwinds. Headwinds in terms of the integration of especially solar and wind to the grids. This is one. Second, again for solar and wind, the supply chain issues, concentration of supply chain in very few players there. Third, we see that the financing is a major headwind. In terms of technologies, today we see a serious challenge for the offshore wind. But in general, for emerging and developing countries, financing challenge is an important issue that we work a lot with the countries. And the fourth one is, of course, policy changes in different parts of the world has impact on the trends of the countries and also globally. This year, dear colleagues, we expect a strong growth again in 2025. Our expectation is 750 gigawatts. Yes, we expect 750 gigawatts of renewables will be installed. This is, of course, an important number. If I compare with the renewable capacity, which is already finished or about to finish, it's about 1,700 gigawatts, are waiting to be connected to the grid. They are in the queue. It shows the grid congestion problem in a very clear way. So 750 gigawatts are being connected to the grid this year, and 1,700 gigawatts are in the queue. So this is something, of course, we need to take into account the grid issue that IEA has been for all energy sources highlighting for some time. In terms of generation, again, if you look at this year, we expect that the renewables, solar, wind, hydropower, bioenergy, geothermal, all together account more than 1/3 of the total global electricity generation, close to 35%, a significant amount. We look at the future, and based on current policy settings, we expect a strong growth of renewables, 4,600 gigawatts. 4,600 gigawatts. It is double what we have today, and maybe even more impressive if I put it from the perspective that the 4,600 gigawatts is equal to the total electricity installed capacity of China, EU, and European and Japan. China, EU, and Japan put together. Solar is the dominant contributor to this 4,600 gigawatts. It is more than 80% of this 4,600 comes from solar. Why solar? First, it is the cost issue, lowest cost in many areas, and also quick to install. And also the permitting times for solar is much faster, and installations are much faster because people need electricity as soon as possible. And when I look at the 4,600 gigawatts, as I said, impressive China plus EU plus Japan equivalent of total power capacity. It is about, compared to what we expected last year, it is 5% less than what we thought we should reach in 2030. We have lowered our forecast mainly as a result of policy changes in the United States and in China. So we have lowered the forecast in both these two major economies, but we have increased our expectations in some other economies or regions. One of them is European Union. The other one is India. I will come in a moment, Southeast Asia, and as I mentioned, Middle East and North Africa.
The growth of renewables between different technologies have been more balanced historically. However, in the future, we are seeing more and more the dominance of PV. We are expecting about 4,600 gigawatts of new capacity becoming operational in the coming 5 years, and 80% of this will come from a single technology, which is solar PV. This basically highlights several important features of solar PV. The first one being it's significantly faster to permit solar PV plants. It's actually in many places half of the time of permitting other renewable technologies, but it's also faster to install. The second important feature is that with the recent reduction of the prices, solar PV has become in many countries in the world the cheapest way of meeting new electricity demand. So the costs are still going down. So this is an important factor of choice for many companies and the utilities to buy solar PV. But also the important factor is that that solar PV is quite impressive, is that the small installations, as we call them, distributed solar PV. Those installations are installed by individuals or the companies to use solar PV for their own generation. We have seen a significant growth of these systems over the last few years, including the small ones in the developing countries that are helping people and the companies to have a better access of electricity or a cheaper access of electricity in the future. We expect still, despite the several challenges of the industry, which I will come back in a minute, wind sector to also continue growing. Actually, its growth doubles in the coming 5 years, mostly driven by onshore wind. There are several markets in the world that address long permitting timelines, which affect our forecast, but also onshore wind is moving into several new markets that hasn't exploited the renewable energy source. So we see an expansion of onshore wind in many markets in the world. Offshore wind situation, as our executive director mentioned, is a bit more complicated. There are multiple projects has been cancelled or suspended in many parts of the world, in North America, Europe, and Asia. So that's why we reflected this in our forecast. Actually, in terms of the revisions, in terms of the relative revisions, offshore wind has the largest downward revision we had in the forecast, which is about 25%. But also other technologies are very important, especially to deliver firm electricity to the grids and to help integrate the solar PV and wind. We are seeing two important trends. The first one is that pumped hydro storage installations are accelerating. Many parts of the world, the governments realize the importance of long-term storage. So we are seeing that growth, but also geothermal expansion is also going rapidly. This doesn't take us to the tripling. This growth is very strong. I would like to highlight that 4,600 gigawatts in the next 5 years means that everything that the renewable industry invested and installed over the last 40 years. So we are achieving 40 years of achievement in 5 years to be able to achieve those installations. But this is still far from tripling, so 2.6 gigawatts, because we see important challenges related to still permitting, policy uncertainties, grid integration, and financing.